the Homer Hour, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside former Badger and Packer Gary Ellerson, here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day. The Gary Ellerson Homer Hour. And as I look on Twitter, they are doing the most historic match in NCAA wrestling history. It was for me, Dan Gable, his only loss. I believe it was in the championship, but never. It was 1970. That's Don Hudson. I got to move on. That's too old. I'm even feeling that way about the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, Vince Lombardi, Bart Starr. Have they turned into Don Hudson? The last time they won was 1967. That's almost 60 years ago. I mean, I would say 60 years ago is too old, but there's one problem with that. Pebble, you know what the problem is for me to say that 60 years is too old?
What's that?
I'm 70.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, that means I can't, I don't know. There's a huge group of people that have no appreciation of the greatness of Vince Lombardi and that crew because it's too long ago. I don't know how old you have to be to appreciate. You have to have some, just like Don Hudson. I don't have any knowledge of him other than a couple of pictures, and I have something signed by Don Hudson. Even that looks old because the uniforms were different, at least with the Packers and Vince Lombardi.
It's not old, though. It's nostalgic.
No, that's what old people say.
Everybody loves nostalgia, Homer.
Up to a certain point. There's a certain point that it's too old. All right, I don't know how I should ask. So I'm 70. I remember when they taught us about World War II. I said, I get it. World War I. I said, that's too long ago. So that was 1910 or somewhere in there, right? In the 1915. It
was like 1912,
right, and they're telling us about it in the 60s. That's 50 years ago. I go, that's too old. And plus, they were horses, and it was just... There was not enough about what it was as current. Now, maybe Lombardi football's current. We'll ask Gary Ellerson. He's not as old as I am, so. Good afternoon, Gary.
Good afternoon, Homer.
So, what do you remember about Vince Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers growing up? You didn't watch any games, did you? What year were you born?
1963.
Yeah, they were gone. You just had older people telling you about them, right? Then you learned about them.
Correct. Then I learned about them.
Yeah. I lived it. I saw it. Star, touchdown. That was the ice bowl into the sneak.
You did not.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
No, you did not.
I can remember the first I remember was must have been 61 or 62. They win it. Yeah, I rooted for the Packers because they were the best. Why would you root for a team that wasn't any good?
61, 62, you were 7, 8 years old?
Yeah, yes. 8, because I watched What's My Line, and Ray Nitschke was on it. You can look this up on YouTube if you want. He had like a suit or might even be a tuxedo, and he had the big black glasses on. Okay, What's My Line means they don't know who you are. Now, granted, I learned all these people were kind of theater people. Orson Bean, Dorothy Kilgallen, I can't remember this weird's name. They had no idea who he was. They didn't know he was a football player. They didn't know he was a member of the Green Bay Packers. Packers had just won the NFL championship in New York probably like 2 or 3 days before they taped that. They didn't even know who he was. Could you imagine that now? Everybody would know who. Say you pick, who's the best linebacker in the NFL right now? I don't know. Give us a name. No, the guy from the Dallas.
Fred Warner from the Niners?
Yeah, no, or give us the guy from the Cowboys who's in all the news.
What's his name?
The kid from Penn State.
Parsons,
yeah, like he comes on, everybody's going to know who he is. I mean, it was also just the beginning of TV. I'd like to thank my dad. We got TVs before anybody else. We were the first person to have a color TV. We had a black and white TV. Oh, yeah, we were way ahead of. We had the first video recorder too. We had them at the same time they first came to the TV.
What did your dad do as a job?
My dad was a professional speaker, so he would have somebody tape his speech.
Professional speaker, so sold him to who?
Well, no, so he could watch it. He was like, you've heard.
No,
of
but how did your dad make money?
All right, you've heard of like Zig Ziglar, right?
Yeah, Zig.
Yeah, that's who he was. That's what he did. He gave 220 speeches a year, like in the 60s. We never saw him.
That's a cush job.
Well, he's a professor at Notre Dame. They didn't pay well enough, and then one day he said, I'm gonna become a professional speaker. What experience do you have? None. I gave a few when they would ask to speak to the professors at Notre Dame. So he said, today I'm a speaker. Then he got speeches and created an identity, a brand, if you will. Used to go to comedy shows and steal jokes. My mom tells me they went to a famous place in Chicago. It was called Mr. Kelly's. Alan King was performing. My dad got front row seats.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
He continued as professor at Notre Dame?
No, he was speaker, and he did that for 30 years, and then he went back to Notre Dame later and taught a couple classes as I don't know what they call that, a professor emeritus or professor. You're not a full-time professor, but you can teach 2 classes. So they go to Mr. Kelly's, the front row. Every joke Alan King is telling, my dad's writing it down. They didn't have cassettes. He's stealing every joke. Finally, Alan King says to him, excuse me, sir, would you like me to slow down? And my mom says my dad went, ooh, I like that one too. Would you like me to slow down? So one day he speaks, and I guess he was good enough and took care of 8 kids, and the rest is history. So
who's Alan King?
You've never heard of Alan King? Okay. See, that's Don Hudson again. Alan King would be like Jerry Seinfeld. I think it's Alan King. Do I have his name? I don't think I have his name wrong. Hold on. I mean, I'm getting old, so. Yeah. Don Rickles. Have you heard of Don Rickles?
Yeah.
No? Jay Leno? Be like Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Carson.
Yeah. Alan King, an American comedian, actor, known for his biting wit and often angry, humorous rants. Yeah, making fun of my dad. I should have gone and found out he did that and gone to one of his shows and punched him out. So, anyway, all right, enough on that. But yes, I wonder that the Vince Lombardi and the Green Bay Packers, that's become obsolete. Just like, to me, all the Packer championships in the 30s and 40s, they don't count to me. It was like Civil War time. Come on. When is it too old? When does something have something in the 1950s? Tell me anything in the 50s that has significance to you, Gary Ellerson. Born in 1964, just 10 years younger than me. Anything in the... Nothing. See, now I would say in the 50s, Elvis Presley. Come on. But that's Don Hudson to you. All right, now let's get in the 60s. So in the late 60s, I don't even know if you'd remember anything in the late 60s. Probably not. Have to be early 70s. All right? Anything in the 60s that holds significance to you? Martin Luther King. Excellent choice. Yes. I would have said, and I wasn't, but the Vietnam War was huge. The same way. Kennedy assassinated. You were just 1 year old. You don't remember that. All right, now we get to the 70s. See, this is my point. You're 60, And the 60s mean nothing to you as far as sports. That's Lombardi. Lombardi is the 60s. He didn't make it till the end of the 60s. He just made it till 67. Then he's done. All right, what do you got in the 70s? You're getting close now to getting old enough to play football for the University of Georgia. That's what everybody thought. Damn, Georgia's going to be good. They got Herschel Walker, then they're going to have Gary Ellerson. All right, 70s. Now we're in the 70s. What stands out in the 70s? So this will be like the 60s for me. I would guess at around 60, that around 74, you were following stuff.
70s?
Yeah.
Smoking.
What? I lost you. We got to get him on the phone again.
Probably.
Yeah, come on. What'd you say in the 70s? I thought you said Smokey Robinson, but I don't know if that's actually true. Smoking?
Smoking marijuana.
Oh, okay. We called it dope back then. All right.
Dope.
Let's see. Smoking marijuana.
Dope.
It was probably 69 or 70. I never understood. I didn't like smoking cigarettes either. First time I smoked one, I started coughing going, what's the fun about this? This is terrible. Only time I ever smoked a cigarette. I don't get it. But other people did. So, all right, 70s. All right, should we get to the Packers here? No, I don't know how to handle Lombardi. I'm thinking it's too old to talk about anymore. I never talk about Don Hudson. And I talk about those Packer championships and saying that the ones that he won, that didn't even count. I mean, because you didn't have everybody playing in the NFL back then, is limited to just white people. But that's aside from the number of years. I don't know, 60 years is too long ago.
That is long.
I know. So should we even talk about? It's not going to be that long till everybody associated with Lombardi years is also going to be dead. We got Jerry Kramer, Dave Robinson. I don't know. You go to the events. Who else is left? There aren't many left, right?
No, you're right.
I mean, this the day.
What about who are the Gold Dust twins? Who were they?
Were they like women? I don't know the Gold Dust twins. Were they maybe like led the band, or Purdue had a golden girl or whatever, something like that?
They're running backs. Grabowski and
Grabowski and hold on, Donnie Anderson. Donnie Anderson and
Gold Dust.
Well, I don't know what they called them. They were both like first-round picks, but Jim Grabowski did nothing of significance, and Donnie Anderson was pretty good, but only for a couple of games, couple of years. I don't even know how long he stayed with the team after they lost. Yeah, they were the next group of great running backs that definitely they were no Horning and Taylor. So that was a big disappointment compared to how good Horning and Taylor were. Horning and Taylor were arguably, if not for Jim Brown, Jim Taylor would have been the number one running back for a decade. And Paul Horning was, could do everything. Was MVP one year. So then you have Grabowski and Donnie Anderson. Donnie Anderson was probably better than people gave him credit for, but compared to Horning and Taylor, oh, man, it's over. That's the dilemma that Jordan Love has. Jordan Love could be the current-day Donnie Anderson. Pretty good, but when you follow what was before you, you got to be better than pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I wanted to ask you as a player, because we spend time discussing what players say. The latest is Jordan Love. We'll talk about that. And I just assume as a player, I'm guessing you guys didn't follow or care about any of it. But maybe you did if somebody said something. Did you say, oh, yeah, he talks all the time? Or what input or what importance, if any, did players talking to the media have when you played? And this was, people should know, this is not that old. This was after Lombardi. This is when the Packers weren't good, as good.
There's a caveat there, right?
I mean, I feel bad. The standard was impossible. I wasn't smart enough to know.
There's a caveat. That's when the Packers weren't good. Caveat.
Well, but they've never been like that before. I feel bad watching it at that time. I know people were upset that they went so long without the playoffs, but everybody should have known 5 titles in 7 years. It ain't happening again. Now, maybe you should get more than 1 in 25 or whatever, but the standard of expectations after Lombardi was idiotic. And I was probably just like everyone else. But anyway, the media wasn't the same, but did anybody ever care or talk, or what was the input in the locker room about talking to the media, what your teammates said to the media, or what? I mean, Forrest Gregg hated everyone, so I just assume he hated the media. Just I don't know what input he gave you. I'm sure it wasn't positive. But what was it? I mean, when you hear all this discussion now about what a player said, as a former player, do you go, man, people blow this stuff out of proportion. We didn't care or notice or what? What's the truth?
Well, guys are different now, right? I mean, Lee Rimmel
Sure.
kept the lid on most things coming out of the locker room.
So you didn't have to really get interviewed that much.
No.
All right.
Lee Rimmel controlled the message from Forrest Gregg.
And so after practice,
You want to tell people who Lee Rimmel is?
Lee Remmel's is the media guy, the guy in charge of the media for the Packers, who's the middle guy. Now they have like 5 people that do his job. Not that you need it, but so yeah, he would interact and help the media out. I think they have a media director. I don't know. Aaron Popke is now a part of the Packers. He's a bigger deal than that. I don't know who runs it now. They probably have, I guess they said like
Wohler.
5 people. What?
Jason Wohler.
Right, and I think before that he was an assistant, but the availability for the players, I think, is much greater now than it used to be. But, I mean, did they tell you what you were supposed to say, or?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So Forrest would come in and say, here's
the message.
Oh. And did everybody listen to and follow as to what message he wanted?
There were a couple guys who did their own thing.
James Lofton, or was he? No, I think James Lofton. He could do his own thing. There were a few.
Yeah.
But they depended on how good you were. Even them, I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of media controversies, though. That's kind of my point. And I mean, if you were a player,
65 kind of did his own thing too.
65 was who? Greg Cook?
No.
I don't know who was 65. Who I should know, but I don't.
Right guard, I think he was 65.
Offensive lineman, right guard?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. You got me. I'll look it up.
Well, thank you. Well, good.
I'm
glad I got you.
I didn't think anybody was that good to need to know him that well.
Ron Hellstrom?
Ron Hallstrom was known as Ron Hallstrom was all he was known as a bad draft choice given where he was taken. He was an early first-round pick, played at Iowa, and was never as good as he was supposed to be. But again,
Ron Hallstrom played like 15 years.
Okay, let me look it up. Again, it could be the result of not giving credit to players that should have gotten it because the team wasn't as good. So who do you blame?
Ron Hallstrom could play left tackle, right tackle, guard, and center. I think one year he played center for Brett Favre.
Probably did. Yeah. Again, he's 65 now, and you're right. I probably underestimated. He played like a decade. 6'6", 300. And to be fair, he was only pick number 22, so he shouldn't necessarily have been that good. There's a very short Wikipedia page. A guard for the Packers and the Eagles. That's what he's listed. But yeah, he was never honored in any way in the NFL for anything. Never made a Pro Bowl, never made diddly squat. I take back anything nice that I said about him.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because he wasn't that good.
No, the teams weren't good. Dude, 1 year I think Mark Lee led the NFL in interceptions with 12, 13, 14 interceptions and never made it to the doggone Pro Bowl.
I will check that out. I remember Mark Lee. He was a good defensive back. I believe at the time that Lewis was better, and then his career ended because of an injury. Tim Lewis, was it? Was he on the team with you there?
Mark Lee was better.
He was?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I'll bet Tim Lewis made a pro. I will look it up. We will look it up and try to move from the Don Hudson.
Mark Lee had about 12 interceptions, 13 interceptions.
I think he did have a lot. He did have a number 1 year. I will look that up, and then we'll get into
Pro Bowl.
We'll get into Jordan Love and his view of last season and the future from Gary Ellerson's view. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Southbound on 41, backing up from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. Northbound slow from just before Mayfair Road all the way up to Silver Spring. Southbound 43 still heavy from Capitol all the way down to the KK River. Northbound is backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue up past Keefe. And eastbound 94 seeing delays from 92nd Street all the way to 35th. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. Order Dad Kringle for Father's Day at Kringle.com. Have it shipped right to Dad. Kringle.com. Racine Danish Kringles. Not just a treat, it's a tradition. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, showers early, then partly cloudy, a low of 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 64 at the lake, 73 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
No one should face MS alone. The National MS Society is here so that no one has to. There are nearly 1 million people in the United States with MS, with more than 20,000 of those living right here in Wisconsin. The National MS Society makes sure everyone has what they need to take back control from MS. We embrace and are committed to bringing our entire MS community together, representative of all the various dimensions of diversity. The National MS Society is here for every person with MS. We always will be, until we find a cure. To learn more, to donate, or offer your support, head to nationalmssociety.org.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Ever notice how wine enthusiasts often speak a completely different language? And while that language may technically be English, to most people it's anything but. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where we stock over 8,000 varieties of wine and speak many dialects of wine English to help everyone, from the wine novice to the master sommelier. So if you need an expert recommendation for wine, or maybe you know what you want and simply need help locating it, our experienced staff has got your back. No matter the budget, occasion, or your level of wine expertise, Discount Liquor will make you feel at home. Discount Liquor, unmatched selection, everyday low prices, a helpful staff, and 2 convenient locations. In Milwaukee on 51st and Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Brewers and Padres action is coming at you June 6th through the 8th. Catch an electric weekend of baseball as 2 of the game's youngest superstars square off. The first Friday game of June means Wisconsinites can grab half-off tickets to the Brewers series opener on the 6th, then score one of the top giveaways of the season, a Jackson Churio replica jersey presented by Chevrolet for the first 25,000 ticketed fans through the gates June 7th. Get seats at Brewers.com.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
From the court to the classroom and the community, the Champions for Literacy celebration with Dwayne Wade and Travis Diener will be an evening you don't want to miss. Join Wade and Diener on June 27th at the garage at the Harley-Davidson Museum and make an impact by raising funds for literacy. Get tickets and full event information right now at wadeversusdiener.givesmart.com. wadeversusdiener.givesmart.com. Live listening, show replays, exclusive content. It's all on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Used to be Wisconsin On Demand. I think it automatically changed as mine did. But if you need new, it's ESPN Wisconsin app. Your team's your ESPN. The Wisconsin sports fans' best way to stay in touch with their favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows and keep up with their favorite teams. Find the new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores. The Gary Ellerson Homer Hour. What's the most important thing about the Green Bay Packers? Whatever Jordan Love says. Pebble, the discussion is about Jordan Love's response to whether he had a down year last year or wasn't as good. I want to make sure I present it properly.
He took a step back.
Step back. Asking about him personally. Can you run that down? Do you still have that? Gary Ellerson
has different opinions, things like that. You got to block that stuff out. So it's all about the goals of the team at the end of the day. I'd say we won more games than we did the year before. So that's why I ask people, what is a step back? So everybody has opinions, things like that. Try and block that out and just focus on doing me, being the best player I can be, like I've talked about, and go forward. But at the end of the day, personal stats, things like that, that's all in the back. You got to focus on the goals of the team first and foremost.
Yes, that's why I got a problem, and you can help me on this, Gary. You got to focus on the team. Well, you didn't focus on the team. Because if you're focusing on the team, given what all the players say and all the coaches say, the focus on the team is to win the Super Bowl. And last year, you went not nearly as far in the playoffs as the year before, and that is a step back. It is and should be a step back for every player and member of that organization. And the fact that Jordan Love didn't say that, I'll never understand, because that should be like asking him what 2 and 2 is. Anybody ask anything and you're a player for the Green Bay Packers, a year is based on how you did in the playoffs. Gary Ellerson, you like to clean things up for me if I'm wrong. I don't see how I'm 1% wrong.
What question are you asking me?
How he doesn't understand when somebody says, did you have a down year last year, or was it? What was it? Took
a step back.
Took a step back. Hell yes. Everybody knows we took a step back. He said it's all about team, right? Right? It's not about personal, and I would agree totally. Well, if it's all about team, then you should know how it works with team. This is not asking him how to take on a good defense. Yeah. This is like how you put your shoes on.
See, here we go with you media people.
Now, no, this is me. This is not media people. This is me. I don't get it. I'll never get it.
You're media people, and your media people overreact. And here you go. This is overreaction, typical media guy.
Okay, why is it an overreaction?
And this is so surprising to me sometimes, because what most people don't know is that the Steve the Homer True was probably one of the best athletes that ever came out of Indiana. And he knows, and he knows what it takes to be a top flight
I would say that.
Athlete.
Yeah.
Athlete. And it's not just about sometimes wins and losses. Sometimes it's more about the team and other teams that come along your way, and it's about the total of the sum. And I think you're not seeing that clearly, Steve.
All right. What part am I not seeing?
Well, what you're not seeing is sometimes there are injuries, which they had this year,
right?
And sometimes you see, and for the most part, when you have a young team, right, there's some guys who excel far beyond their expectations, and then
Yes.
sometimes guys fall back, and then you have that little juggling thing that goes on. If you were to ask me
I am.
the question, and the question would be, did they fall short of expectations
No, that was
this
If
last
he took,
year?
if he and the Packers took a step back in 2024.
yes. Did you
No.
and the Packers take a step
No.
back?
No, not. If you look at the circumstances of how the season played out, no.
Okay. Okay. What? Explain.
I think it took a step forward, actually,
And because
your quarterback had never been hurt the way
Okay.
he had been ever.
right.
And what a lot of people don't understand is once you get hurt like that, how do I battle through that and play above expectations?
Okay. So their ability to win 11 games, 2 more than the previous year, would be a step forward.
Absolutely. Not only that, then you look at your backup quarterback that came in and won you 2 games.
2 or 3, 2.5, maybe 3. Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
That's unheard of. That
we-
who had only been on your roster for less
Correct.
than a year. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
but
that's
now, okay, so
step forward.
now, Mr.
Step
Ellison.
forward.
Now,
Yes, sir.
I think you've made some good points, but I hear the Green Bay Packers every day, and I can give you the 100 quotes if you want. That the goal of the team is to win the Super Bowl.
Goal
And-
for every team in the NFL
right
is to win a Super Bowl.
Correct. However,
some have that closer to most than
right.
others.
The Packers have been at a level of success that when they say it, it's given some degree of respect. If 2 years ago you came within, I don't know, a quarter, 8 minutes of making the NFC Championship game, and the following year you lose your first playoff game by more than 10 points, how can that be a step forward when the
Because
determining factor for a season is the playoffs?
It's not just that year, it's the progression of the young team moving through adversity.
All right.
You should know that, Steve.
Well, no, hold on.
whole truth.
But the progression of the team. So the team progressed even though they didn't go nearly as far in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
All right, well, then that tells me, Mr. Ellerson, if that's how you view it, even though they lost right away in the playoffs, that they should be damn good this year. You better be picking them to be special this year. If they made progress, the team progressed last year, even though they lost in the playoffs very quickly. That you're throwing aside doesn't matter. With the other factors you mentioned, there was progression of the team. Well, unless they have, like if they don't have an injury to the quarterback, how far should they go this year? Sky's the limit, it would seem, if they progressed last year from a year in which they nearly made it the NFC Championship.
Well, let me ask you this, Homer.
Yes.
You're a smart guy. Let me
Right.
ask you this. You're a smart guy. Who is your odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl this year?
This year,
Yeah,
Philadelphia
this upcoming
Eagles.
season.
And
Okay.
Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. 1-2.
But yeah, you can put them in there. Yeah.
Who's your third choice?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it that far.
Well, look at
What's
it.
your point of this?
Look at it.
What's your
No,
point?
Just look at it. Look at it.
My
Because
question.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you.
Right. I
don't
say-
disagree with you.
Baltimore Ravens are third.
I believe they did take a step back last year, so they're
No,
not going to be as high.
We're not doing that.
So who
We're
are
not
we
doing
doing?
that.
Why not?
No, here's what we're doing right now.
What are we doing?
'Cause
Where they are?
You have these expectations. So I'm asking you, then you talking Super Bowl and all that stupid
I'm not.
stuff.
I'm not.
Who's the best team in the NFL this upcoming season, you think?
I would say I really like Philadelphia. I also like
I agree.
Kansas City.
Agree.
I'm pretty positive on Detroit, though. With the coordinators leaving, I'd still have them ahead.
Agree.
Baltimore, the Bills. I don't focus as much on the AFC because it has no impact on the Packers until. So in the NFC, who else? What? Niners. What? The Commanders bother me. The 49ers, Rams. So the issue is, where.
So you're saying the Packers are probably the third best, fourth best team in the NFC?
I would say my guess is worse than that.
Give me the teams. I'm trying to figure it out.
All right. Well, but the key is what yours is, because you say they progressed as a team last year, even though they lost in the playoffs.
If you're looking at the team progression, great, but that still doesn't mean that they're better than Philadelphia.
Right, but you don't have to be the best team in the NFC to be able to go further in the playoffs. Like win a game in the playoffs?
Depends on who you play. If you're playing Philadelphia in the first round, you're not going to beat them.
Well,
they're better.
And then you won't play Philadelphia if you're better than a 7th seed.
Case in point. Give me your top four teams in the
NFC. All right, we'll take a break, and then we'll hear from your partner, and then we'll hear from the top teams in the NFC next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Backups along southbound 43 actually start just before the Marquette and continue all the way down towards the KK River. On the northbound side, slowing down from Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keith. Eastbound 94, you're seeing delays from just before 84th Street all the way through the Stadium interchange. Westbound's pretty clear. And northbound on 41, backing up from just before Mayfair Road all the way up to Silver Spring. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles. Order Dad Kringle for Father's Day at Kringle.com. Have it shipped right to Dad. Kringle.com. Racine Danish Kringles, not just a treat, it's a tradition. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, showers early, partly cloudy skies, a low of 50. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 64 at the lake, 73 inland. Weather is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors. When storms hit, out-of-town roofers come and go. Infinity Exteriors has been local and trusted since 1997. And they stand behind every job. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
Drive into Memorial Day all month long at Cunis. Get the best savings of the year at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Cunis locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. Get huge discounts on the Buick Envista and Envision SUVs or the rugged GMC Terrain and Sierra. Visit your local dealer website for one of our 10 pre-owned super specials. You won't find deals like this anywhere else. Plus, we have unbeatable service specials on brakes, tires, and oil changes.
I'm Brian Bohm, General Manager of Cunis of Oak Creek.
And I'm Bill Eater, General Manager of Cunis of Greenfield.
We would like to invite you to take advantage of these great monthly specials.
And remember that your vehicle will be covered by our exclusive No Fear Lifetime Powertrain Warranty, included with new and qualified pre-owned purchases.
Call or stop in today for your VIP appointment.
Drive into Memorial Day all month long at Cunis.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years from their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee. Their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design.
Great impressions.
Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
I just wanna be rich, and I don't wanna work.
The Gary Ellerson Homer Hour, and that means he's going to talk about a partner and talk about it well. Hit it.
My good friends over at the Jury Center golf team. If you're looking for a piece of jewelry to surprise your special someone, it's my good friends at the Jury Center. If you're looking to get the most money for your old gold jewelry, it's my good friends at the Jury Center. If you're looking for that diamond ring and you don't want to pay a whole lot of money, you want to get the great deals, my good friend at the Jury Center. And how do I know all this? Because me, Gary Ellerson, I shop at the Jury Center. I bought my beautiful wife her ring, diamond ring, at the Jury Center. My good friend Dean Murray, who's the owner, helped me arrange and pick out the diamond ring that I purchased. We'll do the same for you. The exact same for you. Just because I'm Gary Ellerson, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Dean Murray and his staff will take care of you when you walk in the door. When you walk into the Jury Center, it feels like a family. And that's what I like about it. Go check my good friends out today at the Jury Center. And most certainly you can ask for the owner, Dean Murray, where you will get the best possible deal on any piece of jewelry at the Jury Center.
The Gary Ellerson Homer Hour, and yes, it is. Is it 100 days, Pebble? Exactly 100 days?
Exactly 100 days till the Packers kick off the 2025 season.
I can't wait. I want them to play today. I want to see how good this team is. We don't have any new Jair Alexander information, do we, Pebble? It's still unknown.
No, still wait and see. His contract negotiations with the Pack. Alden Jenkins' contract negotiations with the Pack.
Yes.
Jair will be back with the Green Bay Packers. And I've said this all along. I said this on draft day. Of course, most people know that I work for Spectrum News 1. I do TV for them. My good friend Dennis Krause does the show with me. And we were up at Lambeau Field doing a draft. And Dennis Krause asked me, well, no cornerbacks taken. I go, well, they took one late. But Dennis, what this tells me is that they're renegotiating Jair's contract. He's going to be a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah.
You want to ask me why?
Why?
Because Brian Gutekunst is a very smart guy. I just don't see him making a move like this without covering himself. Meaning that they should have taken a corner within the first 3 picks, and they didn't do this. Jair, when healthy, is one of the top 2-3 corners in the league. That's a huge drop-off.
Right.
That's just common sense to me.
But if you don't think he's going to be healthy, how much are you willing to pay him? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter about being healthy. You just let that figure itself out.
Well, something must be going on because it could have been easy to say there's no discussion of anything. Jair Alexander's on the team. He's playing for us this year. He has a contract. They really.
So that's why you renegotiate. But that's why you renegotiate the contract because that's what you're talking about. You're talking about availability. So they have to get in the room and say, Jair, if you want to be here, we want you to be here. Let's do something incentive-laden contract where it works for you and us.
But what if he thinks it's not good enough? Then what does he do?
Well, then I think he would have been gone by now. But the Packers, I think the time is on the Packers side.
Yeah, he's got a contract.
Yeah.
There's no rush for them unless
no rush for them. No rush for them.
Unless they don't think.
I told you this long time ago that this will be a renegotiated contract.
All right. Back to before the break, the teams.
Yes.
Eagles, Lions, Commanders above the Packers. Yes. And I have the Packers as probably fifth. The 49ers and the Rams, one of those two will be ahead of the Packers. So I have the Packers as fifth.
Right.
So, But
so my point will be then, are you telling me,
yes,
based on your work that you just did, that the Packers are favorite to win the Super Bowl or get to the Super Bowl?
No, they're not.
No. Okay, so what's the problem? What are we talking about?
We're talking about how they did 2 years ago versus how they did last year, and how they did last year versus how they did this year.
You don't even have them as your top 2-3 teams. What's your expectations? It's not even Super Bowl.
Right, but if they don't, whatever they do relative to the standard that the Packers have set, which is appropriate given the success of the team, unless we had to change. If this is the standard now, just getting to the NFC Championship game. That's my standard.
Standard got nothing to do with it. It is the players.
All right.
How good are the players?
What do they think?
And you're saying, Homer, right now, this Packer team doesn't have better players than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Correct. With the hope that Cooper might change.
Yeah. I agree. You're saying
or
the
Packers,
Lions
too.
Exactly.
The Commanders, I'm not sure about, but
I will guarantee you this year. Mark this down.
I'm writing it down.
Put it down, Pebble. I will guarantee if ESPN, if they decide to bring me back for another year, I hope they do. But write this down. The Washington Commanders will take a step back.
Well, what does that mean? Because we're debating that over the Packers and whether they did. So does that mean they're going to win fewer games?
That means last year was the NFC Championship?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No NFC Championship this year.
Okay. So that's you're using that as a way to taking a step back. However, when it came to the Packers, and I said they took a step back because they didn't get as far in the playoffs, you said, wait, you can't do that.
Yeah, but your step back.
Yes.
Your step back.
This I
your
gotta
step
hear.
back.
Yes.
Your step back was Super Bowl.
No, my step back was every year, if you go less in the playoffs than the previous year, you took a step back. That's everything in the season about the playoffs.
Your step back is Super Bowl.
No,
my step back for Washington,
right?
Hear me out.
Right.
My step back for Washington is they don't know what they don't know, and it catches up with them. They're still going to be a top 5 team.
My step back, my goal for the team last year was the NFC Championship game, and it's the same this year.
Okay.
And so last year they're shorter of that than the year before. What?
If come maybe.
All right, if come maybe.
See,
all right.
I like you media people, because when you media people, you set yourselves up. If they don't make it to the NFC Championship game, you're going to say, it's a failed season. But
no,
you just said 5 minutes ago, Gary, they're probably the 5th best team in the NFC, which does not equal NFC Championship game. There's no grace there.
Yeah, that's correct. They would
There's no
have
grace.
to. They would. I have them at that high because you've convinced me that they made progression as a team.
I convinced you.
All right, here we go. Fisco Auto Body. Fisco Auto Body in Forest Home in Franklin. Yes.
I love you.
I tell you about them because it's a family business. Owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. Yes, it's still in the family. That generations, they're still doing all this work. Imagine how early they start and how good they are by the time they work on your car. That's the greatness of Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. You'll thank them, and then you'll at some point go, Homer, thanks. That's right. Yes, I tell you about Fisco, so you have a good auto body place, and you'll think a little bit better of me. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. Fourth quarter next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just for you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Brewers and Padres action is coming at you June 6th through the 8th. Catch an electric weekend of baseball as two of the game's youngest superstars square off. The first Friday game of June means Wisconsinites can grab half-off tickets to the Brewers series opener on the 6th, then score one of the top giveaways of the
American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC, Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Breese Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
I'm Monica Kessler.
Monica makes sure that everything at Kessler's is worthy of a lifetime warranty.
The quality of your ring is incredibly important when it comes to diamond setting, ring sizing, and repairs.
Monica has been part of Kessler's since she was 6 years old.
Let me tell you how to judge the quality of the jewelry you're buying.
It's easier than you think.
All you have to do is read the warranty.
Most stores offer a 5-year warranty, but Kessler's offers a lifetime warranty, the strongest in the world.
We can do it because we put more gold in your jewelry.
When a jeweler wants to make a bigger profit, they put less gold into the jewelry. This makes it thinner and easier to break.
Theirs might look like ours at first glance, but Kessler's jewelry is made not to break, and that takes more gold.
We give you a lifetime warranty because our jewelry is made to last forever, just like your love.
Gold is more than $2,000 an ounce.
Kessler's gives you more gold, a lot more gold.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
At
Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless. Another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Yes, I am an expert on amount of time. American Place Casino, just a half hour south of Franklin. American Place Casino, just a half hour south of Franklin. Did I tell you it's just a half hour south of Franklin? 38 minutes from maybe one spot in Franklin. Someone said, Homer, be accurate. Just a half hour south of Franklin is mostly accurate. American Place Casino, it is located in Lake County, Illinois. They have great table games. They have slot machines. They got a sports book, great food, and they have new comedy shows, and they have all kinds of promotions. If you are taking advantage of 2 promotions every time you're there, that's on you. And you just go to AmericanPlace.com. AmericanPlace.com. But more than anything, you think of me, Homer, say it again. Just a half hour south of Franklin, American Place Casino. Gary Ellerson, he always says, you media. All right, now, Gary Ellerson is going to now tell us how we media, or we fans, whichever you are, group you're in, should look at this upcoming season for the Green Bay Packers and appropriate, legitimate expectations for Jordan Love. Because you already told us Jair's coming back. What?
It's just based on, I can't tell you. It's just based on, if you're saying to yourself, the Philadelphia Eagles are probably the best team in the league. I agree with you. If you're saying to yourself, the second best team in the NFC is who? Detroit Lions.
Right.
Got to beat them. I don't disagree with that. If you say the third best team is the Washington Commanders, don't disagree. The Packers are in the hunt. They're one of 5 teams in the NFC that potentially can get to the Super Bowl. But that's why there are odds in Vegas. The odds in Vegas will tell you who the favorites are. They're almost never wrong.
Yeah, the Packers are right about 5 or so. So, what do the Packers have to do to avoid a step back from last season?
Stay injury-free.
So it's about injuries. Because if they're not, if they're injury-free, then you're assuming they'll have a better playoff record, or they'll do better in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Because that is the only thing that matters for the Green Bay Packers, right? Playoffs.
Absolutely. Yes,
absolutely.
Sir.
All right. Gabe Neitzel
Homer?
again. Yes.
Homer.
Yes.
Homer.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too, Gary. What is Gabe Neitzel, ESPN Milwaukee, YouTube. He's out at the U.S. Open Women's. I saw it today on. I was watching yesterday and today. It seemed like they make it a little greener when I'm watching today than when I was watching yesterday on Peacock. Maybe. I mean, it looks good even when they don't add a little extra bright green. Next.
Wrapping things up with a bit of a delay still on 41 southbound from Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive.